Hey, welcome back to the website WOD. I'm Adam Case with Bright Coconut, and today we're going to talk about the presentation of your content. So once you got your content together, what makes sense as far as how you put it on your website? Well, really it depends on your audience, Think of the newbies who come to your site for the very first time. What do they need to see to know what you're all about? What's going to help them understand what you're doing and either pick up the phone or walk in your front door? Information, yeah, but what you really need to understand is what's the question that's in their mind when they're on your website? It's, am I going to get my needs met? Well, what do they need? They need transformation, obviously. That's why they're coming to you. So you can deliver it. The question is, how can you prove it on your website? Information, yeah, but everybody has information. Even the Globo Gym down the street is going to put out all kinds of catchwords and buzz phrases and things that are going to try to convince people that they know what they're doing when really you know what you're doing. The thing is, information doesn't sway on its own. What does? Attraction. It's about personality, atmosphere. It's about the feel of a place. That's what makes people come back over and over and over. Well, how do you show that on a website? Design. Okay, so in the world of WordPress, a design is known as a theme. But it's not just about having a pretty face. It's about the structured presentation of your content. That is what a theme does. Because when it comes down to it, every website out there is made up of pages and posts. Pages are your eternal items like your about page and your contact page and maybe your class schedule, things like that. Whereas posts are more time-sensitive items. Think of your blog, for example. When it really comes down to it, it's like training. When someone comes in the front door to work out with you, you got to give them what they need when they need it. If you dump everything on them at once, you're going to blow something out. Well, it's the same way with a website. So let's take a look at some options for themes and ways that you can present your content on your website. First off, there's your traditional website theme, which is something like this. Reverse chronological blog. You've got your posts. You've got your navigation up here. You got your posts run down the side, sidebar, everything. You're all set. Okay. Everybody knows examples of a reverse chronological blog, but using a traditional or reverse chronological layout, putting your blog on your homepage is not your only option. You can also do something like what Whole9 does. Here's their blog, but notice it's not on their homepage. Their homepage is a static page that gives people places to jump off to depending on what their needs are. Okay, so they've got a blog like you saw. They keep it over here off to the side, so it's there when you need it. It doesn't just smack people who first walk in the, first walk up to their website and are like, what's this all about? They do a really good job of describing that on their homepage and then giving people links to go where they need to go. So that's one way of using a traditional layout. Next up after traditional, there's a business layout. Now a business layout oftentimes has something like a big slider like this up in the top where your content can move along so you can show things to people. But what a business style does is rather than put your blog content first and foremost, it puts static content. Whether it's your slider or whether it's small blurbs like this and then people can jump off where they need to. Sometimes they do put blog content in excerpt form down below. Totally cool. But the basic idea is static approach, but a lot of it so people know where to go. Classic example of this would be a site like CrossFit Freedom. Okay, they use a photo slider up here, which is nice and catchy, and then they have static content that describes what CrossFit's about, what CrossFit Freedom's about. So when people first come to the site and they read it, they know like, I don't want to go there because it sounds too hard, or oh my God, this is what I'm all about. I got to check this out, and then they come. And then of course they have blog content up in the front too. So after business, there's a magazine style layout, which in some ways is very similar to the business theme because you have a lot of content right up front. But instead of static content like you have with a business theme, a magazine style theme, you have lots of posts. It's all basically generated from your posts. In this particular theme, it's showing latest posts and older posts, and it's just another chronological march backwards through content. However, with a little bit of tweaking, you can do something like Ultimate CrossFit does. Their particular gym, they have a CrossFit program, a boot camp program, an endurance program, a kids program. And so what we did is did a little behind the scenes coding, and so the latest post from each of these categories shows up there on their homepage, which is really cool. So that's another option. So Another option is use something that's kind of unconventional, you know. Here's a portfolio theme. Okay, portfolio themes are typically reserved for artists or photographers or videographers, folks who want to put a portfolio of their work out there. But hey, man, you're a trainer, right? You're an artist. What if you had, instead of photographs of, art pieces and websites and stuff, what if you put up pictures of your clients or pictures of your space, people doing cool things? That's definitely going to be attractive. And then classic either page or post content, depending on the theme, shows up right after that. There's a lot of options, basically, is what I'm trying to show you. Really, when it comes down to it, you can make just about anything work. Any theme can be twisted into something that works well for you. How do you know what to do? Go back to your audience, No, you got to ask yourself, what's enough for them? When someone comes to their site, is a getting started link enough, or would blurbs work better? Okay, it's all going to come from your own personal preferences, of course, too. There is no one right answer. Obviously, we just saw a lot of examples, and they're all using different approaches. So, it comes back to your personality, remember? A great question to ask yourself, though, is how do you use your blog? This can determine it a lot for you, in case you can't make a decision otherwise. Think about how you use your blog. Do you write a multi-category blog? If so, consider a magazine theme or just a well thought out category presentation, the way that Whole9 does. Traditional blog format, but they have their categories well displayed. If you have a simple blog, basically, it's just post after post. Maybe you just put your workouts up every day and maybe a couple snippets about your members. Consider a traditional theme or maybe a business style approach. You do want to give a thought, of course, to your archives and your search capabilities if you're doing that, just so people can easily go back and find what it is that they're looking for. So lots of options, no one right answer. But no matter what you do, make sure it's sexy.